then you ain't gonna shine. If you ain't on the net, you ain't ready. Process is the principle. Technical convention, the movement or dimension. The answer is to mention you. Man is a machine. Energies are a you ready? Come on, go ahead. Yeah. Hey. What's up, y'all? Oh, I see y'all chiming in. Hey, if y'all chiming in right now, share this video. Irons, if y'all see it. What's up, Auntie Teresa? I see you. All right. It's Friday, so y'all know what it is. It's Friday. It's media exclusive time. And if it's media exclusive time, that means I'm in Intellectual Radio, which is iHeartRadio's The Sandy Hook Promise commercial. I don't know if you all saw it. Shout out to my man Earl over there on the ones who's right now, making sure y'all can hear me good. You know, I don't have kids. I have god kids, and of course, those that's chiming in have kids and things like that. And when I saw the commercial, so if y'all don't know too much about a month ago, right around the time the kids was getting ready to go back to school, okay, they were, promoting this Sandy Hook Promise, right? And basically it's saying that they do shootings, all right? So with that being said, let's just, recap. So it's been a lot of school shootings, okay? It's been like 27, and it dates all the way back to like 1893, all right? The ones that's up to date, of course, we've seen a lot of different mass shootings, but in this particular case, we wanted to kind of stay focused on the school shootings, which is this whole show is pertaining to today. So when it comes to school shootings, December 14th, and it was that December 14th, 2012 was the Sandy Hook. Shootings were like the ones you heard mostly about. Not trying to, not trying to downsize the other school shootings, because by all means, we give our deepest condolences out to those families that was involved. And even the shooters, of course, they all, some was killed, some wasn't, and everyone lost a life that day or those years specifically. So with that being said, let's get into it. So now to get this commercial, if y'all have not seen it, it's on YouTube. You can even Google it. It's called the Sandy Hook Promise, and again, it gears towards it's a nonprofit organization that was built up with parents and teachers to prevent school shootings and safety of their Sandy Hook students. So the commercial comes out, you think it's a back to school. You got the kids going, they like, yeah, my mom bought me these new shoes, but he's running in the halls. You got the other two kids holding up the pens and the pencils, talking about, yo, this was a great buy. And then, of course, the very one on the very, very end, they have the young lady in the stall with her new phone that her mom purchased her, so she can keep in contact with her mom. And then she writes, I love you, mom. And then the person comes into the bathroom. So what they're saying is, which I kind of get where they were trying to go with this, right? I totally get where they was trying to go with it. But I believe the message was so harsh and so dark to a degree. We don't want to scare the kids to just not want to go to school, first off. But you putting in this image that if they go, they're just going to get killed. You know what I mean? Like, I believe they should have went with maybe students maybe around that age bracket and just kind of going over things that maybe can be prevented, or things that they can use, like tools that they can use to help in a case like that. But the way they made it seem like, they running in the halls, you got the kids screaming, you got the young boy who mom purchased the board and he busting out the window. You see them all trying to escape. It kind of gives like that dark run for your life, vibe. And I believe that they went a little bit too hard on the delivery of the message. And that's, of course, just my opinion. All right. I'm not saying that, everything that I say has to be solid and it goes. No, but I mean, growing up in my era, we didn't have to worry about school shootings. All right. We was just more gangs than anything. And even then the gangs had that structure. They knew, not to mess with the kids, not mess with the elders, not mess with the women, and whatever beef they had was geared toward that individual or that specific, gang or whatever case may be. But in this case, now you have to worry about multiple things, and school shootings seem to be more of a topic than it was when I was growing up and I was in high school or elementary or whatever case may be. So my thing is to push such a video and as graphic as it is, it ain't It ain't all a whole bunch of gore or nothing like that, but it's just that image that you see. It's like, is that the image that you really want to set for these kids? Now, yes, school is already in session and kids are already back and things like that, but that is a commercial that is continuing to run. And in the midst of them running, these kids has probably actually didn't saw it maybe once or twice by now. But when I first saw it, I was like, wow, they really went hard on this message delivery. And I just personally think that the delivery was just a little bit too extreme for minds of children that's already trying to explore so much different stuff, and some even trying to be involved in the trends. Is that setting the wrong message for them on their way back to school, or even presently in school? When you have a situation where you have kids running because they're afraid of school, it gives that first image. Even though I know they were scared, of course, being involved in a school shooting, because and everything seems to be so blocked, and you never really know enough to know when the situation is occurring. But I believe that delivery was so harsh. And my man Earl's over here. He's of course he's just a little bit older than me, not a lot of it. Earl, what do you think? Have you with just off the stuff that I've even said, if you've seen it or not? I mean, do you think there's something that's that powerful only because it's what you see? When what you see is pretty much what you remember, things like that. Do you think something like that extreme is too harsh on the kids' mind? Like,
oh, definitely, without a doubt.
We can't hear you, Earl. Where your microphone at?
Kids are impressionable.
Of course.
So you have to be careful what you put out there for them, because they're very impressionable.
That Earl.
I said kids are very impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very, very careful what you put out there. That's why kids shouldn't get high.
You know what? Did he just say that's why kids shouldn't get high? I agree. So with what he just stated is, and it's just like growing up, you mimic things, you hear things. That's how you learn how to talk. That's how you learn how to remember things, because we're putting it in your face. We're making sure that you acknowledge it. You're making sure you understand what it is you're saying or reading or whatever the case may be. And in this case, this is, like I said, this is a commercial that's going to continue to run. All right. And when they do that, it's more so like, hey, school is bad because this happens in school. You get what I'm saying? Because you making it more so about, the things.
I haven't seen the commercial, but what message do you think they were trying to convey?
Well, I get the message. I get what they were trying to do, which is safety. At one point you looking at it, you're like, oh, okay, they got, nice shoes, but they're not saying what shoes, or, well, we know she has the iPhone because, we see. So we get what they're trying to say, but then when it gets down to the actual message, it's more so like, hey, look, there's school shootings, but this is how you can prepare yourself to not get hurt, right? That's the whole purpose of it. The purpose was to prevent the kids from getting hurt if or any school shootings occurred. So they're looking like, yo, we can kind of make it funny, but kind of make it like it's a back to school, commercial where, the kids need the books or the pens, the paper. So we got that part of it. But then it's when it starts to give it that little twist where it's like, hey, also school shootings exist. So this is really what this is about. It's like you go one way and then it goes another way. And it's like, well, which one are we looking at? Oh, okay, we're looking at the school shooting part. Okay, and then it just became, you feel the hurt in it because we know what happened, of course, back in 2012. Everyone knows about, the Sandy Hook shooting. And I really wish I actually could have had someone from that organization on the line here today to give us their interpretation of why that video's direction. We get the video, we get the commercial, we get all of that. It's just why that approach. Why it couldn't have been just a little bit more subtle and not as harsh on a kid's mind. Now, as adults, we get it all day, and we won't take it and really try things out or make it the trend. Instead, we just more so like, okay, we get it. But I just really think, my personal opinion, they maybe could have had a mixture of like students and teachers that's actually a part of the school, not just some regular actors, just some real people that was probably like maybe the victims that was survived or anything, like, or those that was there, could kind of come back and do a commercial, saying like, hey, this is how you can prevent school shootings, or in the event of a school shooting, this and this and that. I just think that would have been a little bit more subtle versus kids is running through the halls because now you got to answer the questions. Well, mom, why are these kids? For those who don't know about the Sandy Hook or the Columbine, you still got those kids are like, hey, why are they running in the schools? Or hey, mom, I want to skateboard because now they want to break because it's the image. They're not getting it how us adults will get it, or those who know about those two school shootings that was very profiled back in those eras and those years. What I just think that it was just a little bit too harsh. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in and speaking. Hello. What are your thoughts, guys? I mean, you got kids, those who have kids, godkids, nieces, nephews. When you see a commercial like that, and you have to send your child off to school, and they ask you that question, why this commercial was doing this or saying that, or why did the young lady crying at the end? It's just so real. It's just so real, y'all. Y'all, if you haven't seen the commercial, guys, Google it. Google it. It's a very controversial commercial, and it just sends.
I just saw it.
Yeah. So Earl just saw it, y'all. Yeah, that commercial is
WTF.
man. I mean, it's a lot of commercials. And imagine now, I'm thinking because there's a lot of commercials out here that's like that tells you about like the medicines, and they got the jokes and stuff. And it's funny. Those are funny because we're like, it's a headache commercial, but yet. They over there talking about babysitting, and then next thing you know, it's weird. It's completely off the whole subject of being what it is. But then you get this commercial, and you start off like, oh, okay, that's cute. But then when you start looking at the backgrounds of it, and you start looking how the two kids with the pen and the pencil, the boy and the girl, on each side of the door, ready for somebody to come through this, stab them. It's like they ready for war up in there. The commercial just really sending out wrong. I believe is a wrong message. I get where they were trying to go, but these are kids. And if I'm not mistaken, Sandy Hook is an elementary school. So come on, y'all. I don't really know what to say. It's just certain things you have to look at the kids involved in it. You know what I'm saying? And what their interpretation will be from it. What they're gonna think from it, what they're gonna do from it, how they're gonna react and respond to it. And if you don't give them the proper education to understand what they're being taught or what is being seen, and they're going to take it and run with it. Come on, man. Vivid minds are real. You get what I mean? They're babies. So the things that you teach them and show them is what they're going to remember, and how they use that. Well, that can go a different story. So especially now when we're at the age where it's a lot of trends, I want to be the first to do it. I want to be this to do it. I want to start this trend. I want to be, talked about. I want to be this legend. I want to be someone that you don't forget. So that starts sometimes. So I'm not gonna say all of it because I didn't grow up like that, but different times, different crimes, I guess. All right. So that being said, y'all, let me know what you're thinking. Was the commercial, and I know if you haven't seen it, go Google it real quick. But is that commercial just too extreme? Is it too much? Is it doing too much? Is it gearing too much for something that could be in a different approach? And I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done the commercial, by all means. However it is, you need to do to protect the kids. Of course, I'm all for it. That commercial itself, that specific commercial is just pushing too much, and it could be mistaken in a different light than it's supposed to be. It could be a positive light in their minds, but then those that's looking at it, it could just go completely different. You don't want to have it where people is going to be involved in this trying to protect the kids, and then people that's else out there or in the school. Because remember, when your kids go to school, they not yours no more. They're within the environment of their classmates and whatever else is going on up in there. I mean, let's be honest. That's why I learned how to smoke weed. All right, back not in elementary, y'all, but back in high school, back in the 60s, back in the 60s, I dated this guy, and he sold weed. And I mean, shout out to home ec, because that's when I learned how to put the honey in it. I mean, I ain't gonna tell all my stories. But when you leave your house and you set foot into whatever you are, you become there. That's that environment. That becomes your, as they say, school at the time was your second home. Just like they say, work becomes your second home because you're there most of the day. So if you're at school with people that's more of an influencer on you, and you don't know how to be your own leader, and of course elementary, I mean, come on now, these babies growing into, when you let them out there, you're entrusting and hoping that they're not gonna get influenced by anything negative or bad. Come on now, we don't want to. You don't want to say, "Oh, I want my kid to go to school and just no." But it happens. Again, that's why I learned how to smoke weed, and I got asthma. I don't smoke it now because I got asthma. But even then, you learn things there, and it becomes a secret when you get home, unless, of course, something occurs and you mess up, and the secret is no longer a secret. But it's like even there, if I'm in a situation where let's just say we're discussing our first day or something, the back to school, whatever, and you talking to the students about safety, if an active shooter come in, what to do, maybe doing drills or whatever case may be to prevent, as much harm to the students as possible. Then you got this commercial over here. So it's like, hey, well, I seen this commercial, the guy was running down the halls with these shoes on. It's the mixed signal that you give it. Are you focusing on the shoes the kid's supposed to have? And this is what the child may or may not be thinking. We don't know. But the grown folks who's more aware of the killings within itself, the actual shootings, then yeah, we're looking at it like, hey, look, what I'm saying? This is what's going on here. I think that's too much for my child. I got questions that they keep asking me, and this, then the third. How am I supposed to say this when this commercial is saying that? You feel what I'm saying, Earl?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to help this commercial out because it's stating this, but it's also giving this, like, if my child, like, well, mom, I'm gonna need this cell phone because you get what I'm saying, or dad, I'm gonna need this skateboard because this commercial is saying this can help me or prevent from me getting hurt in case of a school shooting. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The messages is all over in that place. It's all over in this commercial, but it's also, I think they should do a part 2, maybe 2 different versions or something.
I would like to see a part 2.
I mean, same thing. Just get the people that was actually involved or survivors, or even if they don't want to do the survivors, because of course they were kids, but that was a while ago. But still, 2012, 2019, about 7 years, they may be a little bit older. They may come back and be like, hey, as a survivor of the Sandy Hook, blah, 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 or something like that. You know what I mean? Then they can go on and discuss, things that they didn't have then that could have helped versus the things that they probably have now. Something like that. It's a little subtle. It's not as extreme, but it'll probably be doable. You know what I mean? So again, y'all just chiming in. What do you think? Do you think the commercial was too much? And if you haven't seen a commercial, just off of the things that I'm just speaking of now, because I've seen a commercial, because I can't help but see it because they keep playing it. What do you think? Do you think it could be a subtle way of trying to get a point across when it comes to being involved in a school shooting or active shooting in general? I mean, you're not going to know. It's not like it's going to be televised, like, hey, it's going to be a school shooting on this day. But I mean, your kids are there, and it ain't like high schools where they would have, the metal detectors. And even if that is the case, sometimes they get through, because again, I went to Inglewood and there was a lot of metal detectors, and at the same time, stuff still went through. Okay, and if that is the case, what is it that you can give your kids the best advice that you can give, in a situation like that? I mean, you can't not take, they cannot not go to school. You get what I'm saying? They gotta go, because then you're gonna get in trouble as a parent. But what is it that you can't give them weapons. You can't give them anything that will, of course, engage harm even to themselves. But what is it that you can possibly say to the kids that can keep them safe if involved in any school shootings? And that's very tricky, because you're there most of the day. Okay, you're at work 8 hours of your day. So between those shifts where you're at work and they're in school, it should be like a lot of praying, because for whatever reason, these individuals think that shooting up the school is going to solve whatever problem that they got going on in their life. It's very twisted and extremely sad. But it's like, what is it that you can actually do to help your child, to keep them safe? The doors is open, the windows, most schools don't open because they have, like, what is it, is it called, like a putty glass or something? You can't shatter it, right? So they can't get out that way. So all you got is the halls and doors. You know what I mean? And with guns, anything that's locked will be unlocked. So it's like, it's to that point where you really, really need to sit and discuss things with your children, especially if they're able to understand and they get involved. A lot of, people I understand go to, have to work and they can't go to like the meetings and things like that at school. But I don't know, maybe at some point try to go and bring up those things because, elementary schools don't really have the metal detectors like the high schools, of course. And then if that's not the case and they do have them, again, anybody could get in. You have a lot of grimy people that assist and helps individuals, which we would all like to not believe that is true. But let's be honest, it happens. And if that is the case, and they are able to get through with a gun, whether it's a handgun, nowadays people can make stuff. Arts and craft is real, you guys. I done seen the little bitty guns that they made up out of clay and stuff. All you need to do is have it be able to shoot and spark, and there it is. And it can be made out of like the littlest things you can even imagine. So if that is the case, what is it that we can, do to help prevent as much, casualties as we can when it comes to a situation like that? Because like, again, we've all been at elementary, we've all been high school. We know how the halls are. The halls are long and then they go left or they go right. And then you go to another room and the rooms is kind of small and confined. Again, what is it that you can actually do? Because that is a serious situation. It's not like we at a workplace where we can, we know the ins and outs. Most of the kids don't know the ins and outs. And then no matter how much a teacher, a security guard, or principal are taught ways to do things, when you're in face to face with a situation like that, you forget it all because now you're more so afraid and the other senses kick in and you're not able to snap back and to actually think. You're more afraid and you're like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? What am I gonna do this? Kids, this, that. You're panicking. And when you panic, you don't think. And when you don't think, you just do. And sometimes you can just really walk into the enemy because you're not focused. And as a ex-security officer, as well as a manager, I was, taught a lot of different things. And which I'm grateful, nothing ever happened to the point where I had to actually step up other than, working in the emergency room at the hospital. You had people that came in with gunshot wounds and, the family of the victim. And of course, the other family will also be there. And then it's that conflict. And that was the only thing that I had to actually be, front to front with. And that was just really minor. And I was able to, assess that situation. But when it comes to life and death situation, I've never been involved in that. So I couldn't really say what I could and could not do. But I just know the training that's given, you're not always going to remember it when you're in a position where you're more afraid, and that's not everyone. So, we can't say everyone feels like that because you have those that's actually trained to the point where they're more better when they're under situations like that versus the opposite. So when you have your kids, imagine these your kids, these your ribs, these your 9 months, this your headache, this your stressors, all that, this your loves, right? And when you're at work, it could be an hour away from the school or 30 minutes, 10 minutes away from the school. And then they say it's a lockdown at your child's school. They sending out the texts, you know what I mean? Your response as a parent, you're more afraid because of the outcome that you're already thinking could or could not happen already. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those situations that you can't always put out the things that you believe is better to be seen when you're in a situation that's like this, especially in Chicago and our city alone. It's so much death and people do not really seem to cherish life, let alone their own. But this to the point now they don't care about the women or the children. Not saying that the men feelings shouldn't be cared about. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Everyone's life matter, of course. But it's like, when did it get to the point where the kids and the women was also involved in that? You get what I'm saying? So it's like at some point, the things we put out there in the world, especially on social media and the internet, we all know never really go away. You can always pull something up. You could delete something all day if you think it's gone. And I promise you, depending on who the sources are, they're going to have it. And once they have it, they can always reloop it, resend it, download it on their files, and then send it back out again. And now it's still back out there. So when you do a commercial like that again is still actively running, you can see it on YouTube if you choose. And then, of course, they have it on regular TV as well, commercials and stuff like that. It's just out there. You can't help not to see it. And it's so vivid You know what I mean? You can't help but know what this commercial is about. And I just personally feel like it should be a different way of presenting it. That's my whole thing. I have no problem with the message because I get the message. But someone that's underage will not get this message. And if they do, they're going to get multiple messages in it. And the one that they should know about, they're not going to get it. And they're going to see it because it may be before their time. It may be something that the parents have never spoken about. And now with this commercial being out, they may have to actually address it. And then that may put fear in their child's heart. You get what I'm saying? Like you can express it as much as you can, but it just may cause more damage to the individual mentally than it would. Because how can you explain it? How can you sit down and really talk about a school shooting, especially in our city, where it's just shootings just seem like it's a good morning text, and not scare your child to the point where they don't want to go to school, or if they go to school, they're feeling like today may be a day. And you don't want that, because it's like with us, who wants to live in fear? You know what I'm saying? Who wants to walk out the house and got to look both ways to see if it's a car lurking, or, come home late at night, but then need an escort? I don't want to live in fear. Your children should not live in fear. And with a commercial that's so deep like that, and then you have to explain them to them that, hey, in the most kid-friendly-ish way, which, kudos to the parents that are able to kind of, finesse that a little bit and be like, hey, it's this, it's not that, and don't think about it like this. Shout out to those that's being creative in explaining that. And then those who don't know how to explain it and just kind of just being in the raw with it, again, I wish you all the luck with that. That commercial was just a little bit too much, a little bit too extreme. But the kids' mind, that's the key word there. It's all about the cheering. We want them to be safe. We want them to want and like school so they can get the education they need. And, we're going to hope and pray that we don't get any more school shootings at all. That's my whole thing. Like, what's up with y'all in these school shootings? Like, what is it? And I would love to interview some of the people that actually do them, because I really, truly want to know, what is it that's going on in your brain that you think that killing the babies in school, by the way, or any places anyway, but in school, what is you trying to get out of that? Like, what, especially the one that, and these were, let me get the ages. So for the Sandy Hook Elementary was a 20-year-old Adam Lanza, and he killed 26 people. Okay. Now the Caliban was another one that was pretty high profile in that era, which was April 20th of 99. You had 18-year-old Eric Harris and 17 Dylan, I want to say Klebold. They were actually students there, and they actually killed 12 students and one teacher, and an additional 21 people was also injured in that massacre. And it's like, what is it? I don't know if it was bullying. I just really truly never understood the Sandy Hook one, because he was 20. You know what I'm saying? And it could, I'm not a psychiatrist, regardless of, what I went to school and studied for a moment or two or three. But when you attack babies, it's always that situation where what happened when, he was young. Did he feel unappreciated? Was he not loved from his family? I mean, it's so many questions you can ask. And I don't want to tap into that because I don't really know, of course, his background and things like that. But even with the students that was in the Caliban, they were actual students. Again, was it bullying? Did they just get tired? It's so many questions I would like to ask for those individuals, at one point. But at the same time, I also don't want to know, because, again, I don't want to get in the mind of a twisted individual. I don't want that in my, my spirits. We don't need that in my spirits. But it is definitely a situation when it comes to these kids. We have to pay attention to the things that we're doing. We have to pay attention to the things that the messages that we're trying to get out there, because it can hurt or it can help. And in this case with the Sandy Hook, I kind of believe it kind of hurt a little bit. It's not giving that. It's not giving the message that as parents or as godmothers we would have wanted to see. Like I said, I'm not taking away of the message that they were trying to do. I get that. But I think because I believe so, there was more so in that hurt. And then it was just more so like, we got to do whatever we can to prevent this happening again, so we just gonna give it to them in the raw. That's why I personally believe that they just was like, we're not gonna sugarcoat this. We're just gonna put this together. We're not gonna, take from it. We're just gonna put it all out there and boom, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have the kids running through the hall screaming. We're gonna have the two people protecting themselves with the pens and the pencils. We're gonna have the other student breaking the window with the skateboard so we can get out. We're gonna have the last and powerful ending. We're gonna have the young lady in the bath stall, with her feet up so she wouldn't be seen, and lock the door and texting her mom like, I love you, Mom. And she hit tears. Woo! Baby, that was a lot. That was a lot right there. That ending right there took the entire case. It took the commercial to a whole nother plateau. Okay. You know what it is when you hit that text, I love you, Mom. You know what I mean? But it was just, it's that moment when you throw out a commercial like that. You put something so serious out there for everyone to see it. And the message is so vivid to those, of course, that gets it. I'm not expecting the babies to understand it, but to have that message out there and they have to deal with that. You know what I mean? They have to sit in that. They have to try to process what they were trying to say in that. It's just deep. Seriously. We want the kids to go to school. We want them to feel like that's a safe place, obviously, because, again, like I said, they're going to be there majority of their day. And, of course, the parents are going to be off at work hoping that everything is okay. They don't want to get that text. They don't want to get that alert over the news screens or the teachers or whomever calling the student. The parents like, hey, it's a situation at your child's school. It's on lockdown. That was one of those anxiety moments where everything stops because your child could be potentially in danger. And it's like when you do that, you push yourself to want to get there so fast that nothing matters. And when you do that, you can hurt yourself trying to even get there because the panic, you're going, your mind is going everywhere. You to the point where you almost can go and do some shooting. You know what I'm saying? And then you get there and then they won't let you in because it's a lockdown. Come on now. Y'all got to find a way. We got to find a way, y'all. It's ways to do this. It's definitely structures, but, like I said, get involved, sit, talk to your kids. And I'm not telling y'all how to, raise babies. Of course not, especially for someone who don't have any. My god kids, they all grown. But in that case, it's a difference from being a godmother and a mother. And I get that. So I'm never going to ever take anything away from any of the parents. But, I'm one of those softies that I care. I can look at the commercials and the shootings and actually cry, like seriously, like drop them because I feel that pain, those energies, I feel them. And it's when you're in a situation like this with this commercial, or even if the commercial didn't exist, this is something that should be spoken to regarding your kids, their safeties, and what is it that they need to do if, God willing, a situation like this occurred. It gets deep. It gets real deep. So try to find a way, you guys. Don't let that commercial take y'all back, and then you get to a situation where they actually address it, and you just don't know what to say, how to say it, best time to say it. Get involved before it even gets to the point where something like that even happens, and then let's sway it a little bit. I wanted to also discuss the bullying. So somebody wanted me to discuss it. I didn't think I was going to have time, but I'll actually just chop it up for like these last little 20 minutes with this. And it's the same thing involving schools, but it's not pertaining to the actual Sandy Hook Promise commercial. But someone said that a teacher asked them what is it that their child's supposed to do if a student hit them, right? So the teacher was like, well, personally, I believe that they should tell either myself or another teacher or, another adult that's there. The parent said, I'm going to need my daughter or son, okay, to rock that individual if they hit them. Now, personally, I understand both sides, but you're not going to put your hands on me. That's just what it is. You put your hands on me because they said that they had situations where, the student would say something, but nowadays these teachers ain't really teaching. They just trying to make sure they don't get involved in any fights or any scandals. So then the mother asked the teacher, well, if you were to go out to the parking lot and you were to get assaulted, who would you tell? Would you tell a police officer or another, teacher, or would you try to defend yourself? And the teacher got quiet, right? Because situations you want to have a pick and choose, you know what I mean, when it comes to situations. But if you're able to defend yourself, defend yourself. But they saying, well, these are students and they shouldn't, again, defend yourself and then let me deal with whatever repercussions come after that. Now, by the time I get to another teacher or another, authority figure or whatever the case may be, I didn't get knocked out, robbed, and all types of stuff could have hurt, happened to me. And now you over there trying to figure out, well, why I didn't come to you? Well, I'm laid out right now. So instead, hey, if you could defend yourself and then get as much of the description as you can, then do that. Do that. Let me as a parent deal with, well, why my son or daughter hit your son or daughter. It's a cause and effect. So again, did your daughter or son hit my daughter or son? Because if that's the case, then that's exactly why my daughter or my son has hit your son or daughter. Because you're not going to hit my daughter or my son and think that they just supposed to be like, oh my God, I'm going to go tell. They come tell me, and then I'll come and address the adults. Because you can say something to my son or my daughter and it be offensive. Or you may say something and be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have did. That's not resolving the situation. So if it's to the point where my son or my daughter is going through, whether it's a bullying situation and the teachers are not doing their part, because it's sad to say, but I get it. Teachers are fed up as well with a lot of stuff that's coming from other students. We get that. We understand the stress. You do got some bad apples. Maybe you got some bad apples. And now since everything is videotaped, they're kind of iffy with, whether or not they should get involved, because it's so many cases that they're getting involved in. It's so much scrutiny that they're becoming up against, because everything is on video. And, their thing is they're not supposed to hit a student. They're not supposed to cuss a student. But then you got those bad ones that'll hit you and cuss you first. And what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just stand there and let them beat on you? Because now it's going to take a minute for you to radio someone, or I don't know if they even still have, walkie-talkies. But if not, then you got to get beat up, basically. Then you got to leave out and go get a security officer. If I could defend myself, I'll defend myself. But it's also ways, too. You don't always have to put your hands on anyone. If you see a student getting a little outraged and it's becoming very disrespectful, and you ask the individual to leave or whatever the case may be, then, if you got the time to go and get someone that can make situations different as like a security officer, even with them, they limited to certain things they can do. But the whole point was, if the student was to get hit by another student, what should they do? I don't know. That's a good question. I was always taught, like, you put your hands on me, I'm put my hands back, and then I'll go tell my mom. And then my mom can come up and address the situation as it is, because by that time, how long has been going on? Now, fights are just fights. We get it, high school and, regular school, different personalities and stuff like that. And we get it that it can occur. But, again, it's all about the picking and choosing. But in high school, it wasn't like you could walk away like you can in most adult situations. In high school, it's all about the glitz and the glory. Oh, I fought this person. Oh, I beat this person up. So, again, different stuff, man. And teachers, you guys, of anyone, should know the situation of how that goes, because you guys been in videos and in trouble for so long pertaining to the altercations you guys get involved in with students. It's just, again, it's one of them situations you need to sit down and talk with your kids. If this happens at school, if someone put their hands on you, if a teacher says this and that and the third, you need to discuss that, because those are the things that is going to affect a lot of stuff, and it's crazy, because I'm not going to say those are the reasons that they have, school shootings. I'm not going to say that, because it's a lot of stuff that probably builds up in that individual minds that decides that the school shooting is the best solution. But, everything starts from something. It starts from something. So if that is the case, talk to the kids and find out and make sure they okay. A divorce could mess people, mess kids up. Absentee parents can mess people up. You guys really just have that moment where it doesn't take much to just have a little conversation. Hey, what's going on with you? You all right? You want to talk about some stuff? Anything on your mind? See if they got journals. I know y'all don't want to snoop, but ask them to write down stuff to get it out. If you don't believe in, them talking to a psychiatrist or whatever the case may be. A lot of deaths can take a toll on an individual. Change, moving, a lot of stuff, and it could be the smallest thing can make an effect on someone. So with that being said, try to talk to the people. Let's see if we can start from home to prevent a lot of stuff that can end in results in the outside. That's all I'm saying. That's all I want to say. What do you think, Earl?
I agree with you 100%.
Let's talk. Let's talk to them, y'all. It don't hurt. You can talk on Facebook, Instagram, right? All these other different, places you can do. Let's start from home. Let's see if we can get our babies back. Let's see if we can, let them remember who they are. Because again, when the world out there get them, y'all know the story. When the world get them, they may not always find their way back home. Okay, you got a very small few that can go into the world and not like what they talking about and come back to their own senses. And then you got those that like what the world talking about. And you always hear the same stories. Oh, I came, I got into the game because these my family. I came into the game, it's quick money, I was tired of being broke. Starts from somewhere, people, and if you're anywhere near my age, anywhere near it, then you know that it's a lot of things that you can do to change the mindset of an individual before they get persuaded into the outside world. Because you got to remember, music now is not the same music that we had growing up. The music that I had growing up, they had messages, it was, fight the power type of, music. And then now you kind of have, drug, and women and money, it's giving a different message. And now these kids want that. They want that. You know what I mean? So help them, remind them that it's not always about that. And then if it is, it's because those individuals is in that platform to have that. You're not. You know what I mean? And yeah, they probably had a bad history until they got there. That doesn't mean you go and follow those exact same steps, because that outcome may not be your outcome. Simple conversation, guys. Y'all know what it is. I see a lot of people on here that I know personally, of course. And I know a lot of people that I just follow and vice versa. We all of the same age. Y'all know what it is. You know what I mean? It's street lights, we was in the house type of stuff. Okay. Well, you stay within the block type of stuff. Now, people don't know where their kids at. Now they like, oh, my kid, he out of control. Oh, she out of control. No, she ain't. If your kid, and that's just me, and again, I don't have kids, but we was strict on, with my cousins and, my god kids. It was strict. If you felt as though you was grown, we was going to put you out there to be grown. Don't call my phone talking about you ain't got this and you ain't got that. If you chose the streets, then the streets supposed to got you, right? But see, a lot of people are so afraid, well, I don't want to allow my son out there and, something happened to him. He doing it anyway. It's just you allowing him to come home, sleep, disrespect you, right? For him to get back up and do it all over again. So either way, you can kill him. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I'm just saying, you or the streets. Hey, I'm just saying, like I said, we had strict. My mom wasn't going, my cousins wasn't going, my uncles, aunties, they all on here as well. They wasn't going. I didn't have no choice but to be good. Okay, I had a moment where I was, messing up in high school, and it was, I had to get it together real quick because it was nothing. It was like, well, you can go out there and live out there. Give me your house keys until you figure out what's important, you in your life or someone else's life that you want to go and be a part of. So, yeah, sometimes you have to do the most harshest stuff in hopes that the kids get it and be like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's actually come back to our senses and be kids. And then let's, try not to do anything that will affect that. Let me grow up. Don't let me grow up too fast. Let me do it in the moderations that it's supposed to be. Those teenage years, I get it, people. I was one. I'm not going to sit and say I was perfect. But, I gave my mom, her moments where it was a test. I've had my half a days of me running away. And that was because, as kids, we think when we become a certain age, we supposed to do certain stuff different. And y'all supposed to understand it. And it don't go that way. Because as long as I live with my mother and she's still taking care of me, there is no say. Until you could take care of yourself and you live on your own, then that's a different story. But if you still home with me and you still not getting it and you're still acting like a child, stuff like that, then yeah, I have a say. And I mean, even though I'm 41 now, my mom's still very much so active in my life, very much so. And I still come to her with certain things. We still talk the talks. We still laugh about stuff when I thought I was grown. So, you'll hear those phrases as well. So with all of this being said today with these kids, they are the future. You know what I'm saying? And we're just trying to give them them words of wisdom to help them along on their journey. And with a lot of stuff that's going on from social media to now all this dividing of race and religion and culture, it's an even bigger fight. It's even bigger than what it was when we were growing up. So we got to get a little bit more hands-on with this stuff. You know what I mean? Sit down and talk to these kids, let them know the things that they can and cannot do, help them prevent themselves in situations that may cause them harm, all type of stuff. We already know the system is not even made for us. So let's prevent things that causes them to go to jail for stuff that, wouldn't have to be. Let's get more involved with these kids, because the way everything is going now, it's not looking good. You know what I'm saying? It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So with that being said, man, look at the commercial if y'all haven't seen it. It's called the Sandy Hook Promise. And just take a moment, maybe every week, end of their school week is on a Friday, and talk to them about, how they week go, or how this go, or if you have the time to talk to them every day, do so. But get involved, go to some meetings and bring up stuff. Okay, be nosy, be real nosy. My mama's still nosy. I'm 41, still nosy. Already was on Facebook page mad about something that someone else said, and you gotta love them because it starts from somewhere. I got that out rocking. All right, real quick before I end up out of here, or you got something on the fly for me? Let me go ahead and knock out my names. Again, shout out to my auntie Teresa, my mom Georgia. I appreciate y'all for coming on. Granville, boy, what's good? I don't know what you just posted on my page. Remind me when I see you to trip you off the curb. Auntie Luella, what's going on? Chase, I see you, boy. Betty, hey, sweetie. Tamika, Glenn, what's up, cuz? Reginald, Selection Spot. Hey, y'all, definitely if y'all in the Connecticut area. I'm sorry, Cincinnati. My bad, Cincinnati area, man. Go check out her event. It is this Saturday, tomorrow. She's doing a very good cause for cancer and dog awareness for cancer. Is really dope. I'll definitely be rocking with her, so I'll be sliding through the Cincinnati area. Information, if you guys need it, I'll definitely send it to you. If you know someone that's up in the Cincinnati area, let me know, but definitely go support. It's a very good cause. Anything that's cancer awareness, I'm definitely involved in. I'm trying to be as much as I can. October is definitely breast cancer awareness month. So those that's fighting the cause, I love you. And those who beat the cause, I love you anymore. And those who was not able to, beat the cancer, we miss and love you. What's up, Toya? I see you, baby. Katie Lowe, I see you, honey. Micheline Smith, what's up, sis? I see y'all. Thank you, everyone that's tuning in. Share this video. Traz, what's up, baby? Gotta get you back on the show. Lisa Mercer, I see you. Nick, what's up, man? The promoter of all promoters is definitely in the building. Dorothy, Mary, Laquita, Jefferson, Carlotta, LaShawn, Joseph, your boy AMC, Tony, Cinnamon Smith, April, Tamiko, Dondi, Lawrence, and Vandy. What's up? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Share this video. I love you all. Catch me next Friday as well. Media exclusive. Shout out to my man Ali. Couldn't be here right now, but I know he with spirits. Shout out to my man Earl. Always giving me the ones and twos. Love him to death. Again, y'all, I'm Leah Lukey R. You can follow me on all my social media. Y'all know I'm everywhere. And I get with y'all next week, man. Let me know what y'all think. Share this video. That's all I ask. Nothing more. Love y'all, man. Till then, peace. That's a good song, right? Who that is? It is. That's what beat to it. Y'all see my hair nodding. Let me see it. All right, y'all, I'm out.